Thank you, Francois. It is always good to see you.
How are you, Angie?
Okay, I want to see your watch. What are you wearing? Of course, it's Audemars Piguet.
Yes,
is that the Royal Oak?
It's a Royal Oak skeleton, double balance wheel, yes.
Okay, how many people have bought Royal Oaks from you this year?
So far, we should be in the 30,000 range because we still have 3 months to go, and it's roughly 40,000 watches a year for the last 2 years, and we're not increasing production.
That's incredible because these watches, David, run, what, 40,000 US and up?
On an average, yes.
On average.
Yes.
And they're still buying.
Sure, why not?
I'm actually curious about what kind of demand we have for things like 40,000 US dollars and up. When the economy starts to improve, what do you adjust? Do you adjust output or do you adjust price?
First, we don't adjust the price based on what's going on with the economy because our prices are made on our cost, obviously, and the cost in Switzerland for work are pretty high. But that said, we sell so few watches in the world related to the population that it's almost irrelevant. We sold watches sometimes in occasion where the business is down, the stock goes down, and we sell very expensive watches. So one has nothing really to do with the other. To give you an example, the US is our #1 country. We sold last year 5,000 watches in the United States. Hong Kong is #2. We sold 4,000 watches. If I cannot find 4,000 people in Hong Kong who could afford those watches, then I would have to do something else.
But what would you attribute, I guess, as a major catalyst then for your business? And I mean, how do you plan things? Like, what do you look at the most?
Trends, obviously, but trends from whether it's from the fashion world, music world, the car industry, the private airjet industry.
How about digital
boats.
technology? What about that?
Technology, yes and no. Technology, because of the fact that our watches are pretty much handmade, we cannot look at the whole smart watches the same way. So first of all, if we look at smartwatches, it would make our watches look stupid, which they are not. But we do everything by hand. If we really want to start to touch that digital world and put technology in our watches, then we will lose our soul. And that wouldn't be Audemars Piguet anymore. Because
here's the thing. I want to know, demographic-wise, what the age group predominantly you sell Audemars Piguets to, and if they include millennials.
So over the last 10 years, we've increased and we reduced the age demographic by at least 10 years. And in my last trip to Asia, which was 3 months ago when I toured between Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, I found a lot of young people that came to me, whether they were 18 years old, 20 years old, wearing Audemars Piguet, thanks to their dads and moms.
I would imagine.
Yeah, exactly.
I was about to say.
Dad, can I have an Audemars Piguet?
Francois, we love the watches, we love the brand, we love AP, we are all for AP, everything's great. Which is good news for us, because basically we don't age with our clients. Our clientele is getting younger. And it's not surprising to see young people, actually, who would love to wear those type of watches, that don't want to go to the digital world, because many others do, and they want to be different.
Yeah.
Does that change the way you market the brand, though? I mean, because the demographic's getting younger, and at some point, time still moves. So we all have to evolve, and this generation at some point evolves as well. And they're used to looking at things online, whatever, wherever they get their information. Does that change the way you market?
Absolutely, in terms of the touch points. We're involved in what we call the classic sponsorship, things like art or golf. That's one thing. But we look also at how to communicate with them. The language has changed, even. The younger generation use shorter words, so we have to be careful.
#OMGAP.
Exactly, which means that, for example, in 2019, we're going to launch a watch, and the name of that watch will be very much millennial style. We won't use the beautiful and gorgeous old names that the industry has been using for decades.
You know, when we talk about the luxury watch sector, we have seen a pullback in market share for luxury watches over the past couple of years. We've seen some recovery, to your point. What do you think the future holds for luxury watches? I mean, you say you bleed a little bit of your soul if you include digital technology in your watches. But will the day one day come?
First of all, I don't have the answer to that question yet. We'll see. I doubt it, because I always make the analogy between the watches we make and the smartwatches is the difference that you've got between a 3-star Michelin restaurant and a fast food business. Smartwatches are supposed to be sold in millions and in tens of millions.
Right.
Our watches are sold in thousands. It's a completely different world. And people have wanted to put us against each other when it's not either or. It's much more and You could get both. I've got a 21-year-old daughter. She never wore a watch in her life. When she came to the factory, it was 2 years ago to celebrate her 20th anniversary. I said, I want to give you a watch. Only if you want to wear one. No obligations. She never wore a watch in her life. And after 2 hours of visiting the factory, she said, you know what, Dad? It's the first time in my life I see something that will last. I want to wear one. Long story short, went back to UCLA. In the 4 months following her having the watch on her wrist, 4 of her friends bought one.
Ooh, she is a style leader.
I gotta ask you just very quickly about the Chinese customer. The trend the last 15 years, they go abroad to shop. Has that changed? Are they shopping more at home? Or if they're shopping abroad, where are they shopping?
No, they still buy a lot out of China for a very simple reason. Because of the import duties in China and the VAT in China that you cannot recoup, the prices are most of the time cheaper outside of China. Hence, the way they buy.